The late autumn wind swept across the lawn of Adelaide Cottage, carrying with it the damp chill of the Berkshire countryside. Inside the Wales family home, the fire crackled softly, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The day had been long, and for 8-year-old Princess Charlotte particularly thrilling. She, along with her brothers George and Louis, had been taken by their mother, the Princess of Wales, to visit a local stable. Charlotte had fallen in love with a new pony, and the excitement of the day still sparkled in her eyes as she wiggled under her cozy duvet. Her father, Prince William, sat on the edge of her bed, a well-worn copy of The Enchanted Wood in his hands. It was their sacred time, the part of the day when the titles and the duties fell away, and he was just Papa. He watched her fidget, now pulling the sleeves of her penguin print pajamas over her tiny hands. "Mummy said I did a really good curtsy today," Charlotte chirped, her mind still racing. "To Grandpapa King when we saw his picture. She said it was very elegant." William smiled, his heart swelling with a familiar mix of pride and a poignant ache for his own mother, who had taught him similar lessons in a different world. "She's right. You were perfect, Charlotte. Grandpapa would have been very proud." Charlotte nodded seriously. Then her face scrunched up in thought, the way it always did when she was processing the complexities of the adult world. "Papa? Why do we have to curtsy to Grandpapa and Queen Camilla?" "We don't curtsy to you and Mummy." "Because Grandpa is the king, my love. It's a special sign of respect for the person who is the head of state, or the symbol of the country," he explained gently, for what felt like the 100th time. "And the queen consort is his wife. It's just a special rule for them." "Like the rule that we have to be extra kind to everyone, even when they're not kind back?" Charlotte asked, her blue eyes, so piercingly like his mother's, searching his face. William felt a gentle lurch in his stomach. Children saw things with a clarity adults lost. "Yes, a bit like that," he murmured. "Always be kind. It's the most important rule." Charlotte seemed to accept this, but her expression remained thoughtful. She played with the corner of her duvet for a moment. "Papa, can I ask you something else? It's about today?" "Of course, sweetheart, anything." "At the stable we saw a big photo of the family. The one with all of us on the balcony." She was referring to a recent official portrait. "And Granny Queen Camilla, she was standing next to Grandpapa." William nodded, keeping his expression calm, though his grip on the book tightened almost imperceptibly. "Yes, that's right." "She was wearing a very shiny brooch," Charlotte continued, her voice taking on the tone of someone relaying a confusing puzzle. "And Mrs. Benson was telling another lady that it used to belong to a very special princess, a long, long time ago. She said the princess was very beautiful and very sad." Mrs. Benson was one of the senior dressers, a woman who had been in royal service for decades. William made a mental note to have a quiet word with the household office about staff discretion, but his primary focus was on his daughter. And the air in the room suddenly felt heavier. Charlotte looked up at him. "Was the princess you, Mummy told me about? The one everyone loved? The one who is our guardian angel?" William's throat constricted. This was the conversation, the one that looped in his own mind endlessly. "Yes, Charlotte. That was my Mummy, your grandmother, Princess Diana." "I know," Charlotte said softly. "I talk to her sometimes at night, like you said I could. I tell her about my pony lessons." She paused, her little brow furrowed again. "Papa, if Queen Camilla has the sad princess's brooch, and she's married to Grandpapa, does that mean she's our granny now? Like, properly?" It was an innocent question, but it landed with the force of a blow. How did you explain the labyrinthine, painful history of a family to an 8-year-old? And how did you explain Camilla? "Well," he started, choosing his words with immense care. "She is our step-grandmother. She's married to Grandpapa, so that makes her part of our family." Charlotte considered this. "Mummy said that a step-parent is like an extra grown-up who chooses to love you. Like in Cinderella, but hopefully not so mean." William managed a small smile. "Exactly like that, but hopefully not so mean. Mummy is very wise. But—" Charlotte hesitated, and William could see she was wrestling with a deeper thought, something that had clearly been bothering her. If she chose to love Grandpapa and he chose to love her, why did she make the sad princess cry? Mrs. Benson said the brooch had sad teardrops on it. The world seemed to stop. The crackling fire, the wind outside, everything faded into a dull roar in William's ears. This was it. The poison had already seeped into the next generation. Not through official channels, not through history books, but through whispered gossip and inherited pain. The staff room chatter, the endless articles, the unspoken tension that hung over family gatherings, it was all out there, a miasma that his children were beginning to breathe in. He had to answer. He had to be honest, but not destructive. He had to protect his mother's memory and his daughter's innocence, all while navigating the truth of his father's choices. He took a deep breath, putting the book aside. He took one of her small hands in his. "Charlotte, look at me." She obeyed, her eyes wide and trusting. The story of families is sometimes very complicated. It's not always like a fairy tale. Sometimes, grown-ups make choices that hurt other people, even if they don't mean to. And sometimes they make choices that are just for themselves, without thinking enough about the people who will get hurt. He paused, searching for the right words. "My mummy, your grandmother Diana, she was a wonderful person. She was kind and brave, and she loved her boys more than anything in the world. And yes, she was sad. A lot of sad things happened in her life." "Because of Queen Camilla," Charlotte pressed, her child's logic seeking a simple cause and effect. "It's not that simple," William said, his voice firm but gentle. "Many people made choices that led to her being sad. It's not fair to put all the blame on one person. The most important thing for you to know is that my mummy is at peace now, and she is so proud of you and George and Louis. She watches over you. That is the only truth about her that matters." "But why did she have to be sad at all?" Charlotte's voice trembled slightly. "Why couldn't everyone just be kind like you said?" William felt a familiar burn behind his own eyes. "I don't know, my darling. I wish I did. Some questions are too big for even grown-ups to answer. But what I do know is that your job, and George's and Louis's, is to carry on the good things about her. Her kindness, her warmth, her way of making people feel special. You do that every day without even knowing it. When you hug someone who is sad, when you share your toys, when you make Louis laugh, that's Granny Diana shining through you." Charlotte was silent for a long moment. Then, she did the most extraordinary thing. She lifted her small hand and gently touched her father's cheek, right where a single tear had escaped and was tracing a path down his temple. "Don't be sad, Papa," she whispered. "I'll be extra kind tomorrow. For her." William caught her hand and kissed it. He pulled her into a tight hug, burying his face in her soft, sweet-smelling hair. He held her for a long time, not trusting his voice. He was holding his daughter, but he was also, in a way, holding on to the ghost of his mother, feeling the fierce, protective love she had for him echo in the love he felt for this little girl. In her innocent question, he had heard the echo of a lifetime of pain. In her simple offer of kindness, he had found a balm for his old, unhealed wound. The truth, in all its ugly and beautiful complexity, had been laid bare in a bedtime conversation. And as he finally tucked her in and turned off the light, He knew the most important part of his duty was not to a crown or a country, but to ensuring that the cycle of pain ended here, in the quiet heart of a little girl who just wanted everyone to be kind.